Administration Committee on the 2011-12 financial review of the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs be noted. Called Alfred Naro.
Mr. Chair, I rise and I'll wait for the microphone. Mr. Chair, I am proud to take a call here on behalf of the government to talk about the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs. I am somewhat disappointed, though, Mr. Chair, that other members of other parties, such as the Labour Party, the spokesperson for Pacific Island Affairs isn't taking a call. Mr. Chris Farfoy isn't taking a call. Mr. Chair, that sort of indicates to us quite clearly they're saving their calls for other things which they deem as being important. But for this government, we deem the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs and our Pacifica community of absolute importance, hence the reason why we're taking a call. And Ms. Moroney, if you're interested, if it's important to you, take a call. Mr. Chair, the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs is the Premier Advisor on policies and interventions to promote the social and economic well-being of our Pacific peoples of New Zealand, Mr. Chair. It's around policy advice, it's monitoring, communication and engagement, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, our communities, of our Pacific communities, are sick and tired of being labelled impoverished and underprivileged. A good example of that, Mr. Chair, is that some 4 weeks ago, over in Porirua, that's right, in the Mana area, of Mr. Farfoy, there was some young people talking about Pacifica success in education. And this is what they said, Mr. Chair. An 18-year-old Samoan girl stood up and said this: "I'm sick of being called underprivileged. I'm sick of being called impoverished." And Mr. Chair, this is what she said: "I'm privileged because my parents support me. They encourage me. They allow me to go into education, and this year I'm at Victoria University. If I get a B average, I'll then be able to obtain my scholarship to head over to Scotland, to Dame Kiri Takanua's college over there, and to be a world-class opera singer." There were two young twins who turned up, go to St. Patrick's College. This is what they said, Mr. Chair. They said, "We're sick of being called underprivileged. We as Pacifica are successful, and this is what we're doing in education. Dream, believe and achieve." They are currently the Australasian 100 and 200 metre champions. Mr. Chair, this government is about promoting success, not continually to putting down our Pacifica communities. The Poverty Action Group, Dr. Irene, I went to the consultations there, and this is what Dr. Irene said, Mr. Chair. Down in Napier and in Hawke's Bay, the Pacifica community said this: "Stop those people saying that we're impoverished. Stop them using us as their poverty statistics." Why? Because we are successful. Why? Because we know we're succeeding. And we're starting to see this under this government, Mr. Chair. So here's some of the vision of successful Pacifica that's coming through. The annual report of the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs says this: "The Ministry was in a better shape to catalyse positive change for a very small ministry, punching above its weight." Why? Because for Pacifica communities, we know that's what we're about, Mr. Chair. Despite the fact of being without benefit of any funding increase or staffing for several years, and may I say this, to the shame of the Labour government, for the first time ever, the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs and its portfolio was established in 1984. In fact, Richard Prebble was the first minister. The ministry began in 1990. From that time on, never has their portfolio been out of cabinet except under a Labour government. So let me tell you this: how important is the Pacifica community to that party? I tell you what, it isn't important because no one's taken. Maybe Mr. Farfoy, who's entered in, may take a call to talk about what success that you've had. But this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Education, youth skills and employment are very important. Our young Pacifica community are important to us. Mr. Farfoy will always talk about this unemployment rate, but what he doesn't talk about is the alternatives of what we're doing and the difference that we're making. Yes, they're excited now, Mr. Chair. Why? Because they may just take a call, because if it is important, take a call. If it is important, stand up and make a call. Tell us what you've been doing. This government is making a difference through the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs. Mr. Chair, we can see, for regards to housing, improving economic well-being and living standards, housing alternatives with the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs. What is it? That's what it is. It's with the Tongan churches and the Tongan communities up in Auckland, making it $4.3 million of an alternative to social housing. Why? Because, Mr. Chair, what this government wants is for our Pacifica communities have opportunity to develop its own solutions. That's the difference that this government is making to our Pacific communities. Stop labelling them as underprivileged. Stop labelling them as impoverished. You do no service to our communities. It's time to stop, and if you've got something to solve any alternative, then give us the solutions that make a difference. Under this government, we've increased ECE participation. Under this government, we're addressing with all the social health issues, rheumatic fever. That's what this government is doing to make a difference for our Pacifica community.
The question is that the report... Order. The question is that the report of the Government Administration Committee on the 2011-12 financial review of the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I understand that the next financial review... Order. I understand the next financial review members wish to debate is a financial review of the Ministry of